Okay, so this morning I am very happy to meet with some PhD students from Arizona State University. We have Carlos Bustamante and Jordy Cevallos, who are both from Ecuador. And we are absolutely thrilled to learn more about your research. So, Carlos, we'll start with you. What are you studying both in the classroom and outside of the classroom? So, what is your interest area with your research?
Yeah, so I'm a PhD student in applied mathematics for the life and social sciences. So most of the classes I've enrolled in have to do with mathematical modeling, either in biology or social sciences. But I have also taken pure math and biology classes because I need to be able to understand better the problems and propose the better solutions that I can, right? And then regarding my research, I'm currently working on improving mathematical modeling for COVID-19 outbreak in Ecuador. And we hope to provide good suggestions for the policymakers in the country using the results from such model. And I have also another field of interest, and I'm currently investigating the factors that influence human trust in automation in order to develop a model that reflects such dynamics. So yeah, I'm mostly involved in mathematical modeling.
Was this something that you learned about or knew you wanted to do before you went to undergrad? Did you even know that there was a career field in mathematical modeling?
No, I didn't know. As an undergrad, I had no idea about this. It was just when I started a summer program here in ASU as well that I learned about this field, and I got just excited that I could work on this.
It seems to have so many applications, for
Yeah, it
sure.
does, and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter the area. You can work with this.
Yeah. So, Jordy, how about you? What are you studying in the classroom? And then where do you think your research is pushing you?
Well, hi everyone. I'm a second year PhD student in the program of Applied Mathematics for the Life and Social Sciences as well. And yeah, in the classes, I have taken some courses related with the mathematical modeling, but also related with the biology and social sciences in order to get these theoretical considerations and make reasonable simplifications in my models as well. So, well, in my research, I have been working on epidemiology with Carlos under the advisory of Professor Dr. Anush Muvai.
Okay.
We were studying COVID-19, well, the case of Ecuador, where we're from. So
Right.
also, I have been studying social insect dynamics. Specifically, I was studying the Arpinidus saltator and ants population. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So with math, we could do a lot of things.
I know. It's really fascinating. I think of all the, I don't know, TV shows or movies that make fun of, I'll never need to use this algebra again. Why am I wasting my time learning this stuff? But really, with mathematical modeling, you can apply it to anything. It has some really awesome applications. Have you been able to share your research with folks in Ecuador? Are you in communication with people there so that you can actually apply these models in real world?
Yeah, actually, well, it's not easy to reach the decision makers people, right? But
Sure, sure.
yeah, but we are part of a alumni of our former university, Yachi Tech. So we are
Okay.
discussing this kind of things related with the outbreak in Ecuador. And I presented last month some of the results that we are discussing here actually, and
Right.
they was like, yeah, it is amazing, and why we are not like studying this in Ecuador, but we need to people outside of Ecuador studying this. Yeah, that's why.
Yes, change in a bureaucracy is hard. Um,
Yes.
and it's also hard to know, I think, what to focus on, right? If you're looking at the big picture and you're trying to make a strategy for what our people are focusing on, I think that's a hard decision to make because nature throws us curveballs like COVID-19. No one saw that coming, really, that we would have to divert all these resources to studying that. So, Carlos, your research is certainly COVID-19 related, but, a year and a half ago, it wasn't, because we didn't know. So were you interested at that point in pandemics at all, or public health issues? And then you just kind of fell into this COVID work?
Actually, no. My first exposure to mathematical modeling was in 2018 when I did this summer program in ASU.
Right.
And I learned about mathematical modeling there, and I developed a project, but it wasn't about a pandemic. And then when I arrived here in 2020, it was just when the pandemic was starting. And I said to my supervisor, Professor Anush Mubai, that I wanted to do something. Yeah, of course, I wanted to do mathematical modeling. And since the pandemic was just starting and we wanted to help our country, Ecuador, realize how we can act against this disease. So that's how I got involved in this, because I wanted to help my country and I wanted to apply the knowledge that I had about mathematical modeling. And we arrived just in the right time when it was all starting. So that's why we decided to work on this.
Right. And I'm guessing that Dr. Anuj Mubai has been very instrumental in helping you in this area. So would you say that he was kind of a primary influencer for you in this field? And do you think that you'll stay with it, or do you think you'll go back? I mean, COVID can't last forever, right? But do you now have the sort of that pandemic hook, and this is what you want to focus on?
Yes, yeah, he and Professor Nushma certainly has been one of the main influencers for me to take on this field, and I definitely want to continue with this project and make it as good as we can. But after this, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna keep working on the thesis, but it has certainly been a good way to start with my career.
Well, in my case, my first exposure to mathematical modeling was in 2016. It was my second year as an undergrad in mathematics, and I was working on an interdisciplinary project about parasitemia in birds. So we were collecting data, we were taking samples of blood and looking at the samples in the microscopes in the lab. So it was a very interesting project, and I learned a lot of the techniques and also tools that I have not used, but at least I know. And I know now that the field work is not easy at all. Well, to get the data is not easy. So sometimes we complain about the data, but it's not easy to get that data. So then I was working on another mathematical modeling project, which is more about oil extraction, which it was a very important project for Ecuador, because Ecuador is one of the main, the economy of Ecuador is highly based on exportation of oil. And also, when I arrived to Arizona State University for this summer program, where I was in 2018, I was working in a project that incorporated a lot of parts of subfields in mathematics, like statistics, PDEs, and also optimization. So it was a very interesting experience as well, where I could have a clearer view what I will do in my further studies, which is mathematical modeling. And I think this mathematical modeling it should not be focused only on epidemiology, but it could be expanded to human robot interaction, for example, and population dynamics, and also to have results in these very applied fields. We need some very basic and important and pure mathematics results. So where we could have some results that will hold because we have some very strong mathematical results that comes from the theory. So yeah, I think everything is important when we use mathematics properly to the science. So yeah.
So I know that you know Baltazar Espinoza, who is a postdoc that I work with. And it's really interesting to hear you all talk about the mathematical models, because we talked to him a couple of weeks ago for our COVID Chasers podcast. And I think you should listen to what he had to say. It was really interesting how he was saying this is very different from this real world applied application of what we've learned. He said it's so different from what I learned in my PhD to actually be doing it and using it. And yeah, it might be kind of like a message to his future self for you, right? If you listen and you could think, okay, Baltazar, this is his experience and this is where you're going to be.
Yes.
So he might have some lessons for you. I don't know, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, but at the end, I think that when you do interdisciplinary research,
Yeah,
like in human robot interactions and also in epidemiology and also in population dynamics, you get a lot of tools, and the mathematics gives you this abstraction that allows you to face these real problems, so real life problems, and you
right.
could propose some simplifications that could work and could, like, have a really good approximation to the reality. So I think that is why we are studying mathematical modeling, to
Yes.
have a real taste of what could be some solutions for the real life problems then.
And it's so foundational. I mean, really, it's just very foundational work for sure. Okay, Carlos, first of all, are those roosters in the background?
Yeah,
Like we
sorry,
kept
what?
hearing were those roosters that were crowing in the background? Like real live roosters?
Oh yes, yes, those are. I'm
Okay.
back in my home country right now, so
You
sorry about the
are.
noise. Yeah,
No, that's awesome. I think it's really awesome because
yeah,
part of what we're dealing with is working at home and what that means. I mean, all of us are dealing with that. So people who have kids at home, trying to get them through school, and you're working and you've got meetings. And I mean, no, I think it's really, really awesome that you have roosters in the background. I just want to say that first. Um,
okay.
so now do you have any like cousins or little siblings who are like 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old?
No, not really. I have just one brother, but he's about 20. So
Okay, so he
it's
doesn't count.
so he's
So,
grown up, right? Yeah.
but I see Jordy saying yes. Okay, so Carlos, I want you to pretend that you're talking to like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, and they say, "What do you do at work? What are you studying?" So how would you put that in a way that they could understand?
Yeah, I mean, regarding my research, I would say we just try to understand the problems that we face in our life. For example, with our COVID-19 pandemic, we have been adults being worried about this disease, about how they might get sick. So what we wanted to study is the effect of staying in home in the reduction of the number of people that go to hospital, the number of people that might die from the disease. And we know at the beginning we didn't have any interventions that we might act like. We didn't have medicine, we didn't have vaccines because we didn't know much about it. So what we wanted to study is, what if we stay at home, right? If we stay at home, then the virus will be so bored that it will just go away from our neighborhood because you wouldn't have anyone to infect, right? That's
I
how
like that.
yeah, that's how I will explain it to them.
Right. The virus doesn't have anyone to play with. So he has to just go away.
Yeah, I will just go away. It has no one to play with.
All right, Jordy. So you have nieces, nephews, children that are little, maybe. So how do you tell them what you do?
Well, I would say we studied the effect of staying home with your mom, your dad, your little brothers and sisters, and how this affects, or how these actions reduce the number of families, the number of deaths in the neighborhood, the number of deaths, and the number of people that is infected, that is sick with this COVID-19, which is a very small enemy that we cannot see it, but we need some microscope to see these agents. And so that if we stay in our homes, then the virus will be so bored that he will go away and from from far away from our neighborhood. So we will be
Yeah,
safe.
I swear, Carlos, that is just awesome. I'm going to think about that a lot. That was a good way to put it. Okay, so as you finish your education, what is next for you, Carlos? And what is your dream job? Do you want to teach in Ecuador? Do you want to, work in public health in Ecuador? What do you think you want to do?
Yeah, my dream job would be just working as a mathematical model. I don't really have a particular interest on going to academia or going to industry. As long as I get to be working as a math model, I think that would be great for me. So I
Okay.
don't have a particular topic of interest. As long as I get to apply my knowledge in math modeling, I'm pretty flexible on the topics I can work in. And in
Right.
fact, doing research topics I am not familiar with is more exciting for me since I can learn more new concepts and tools. And I'm always eager to take on new challenge and learn more.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about you, Jordy? What do you think?
Wow. My dream job is to work on academy. So I really like academy, and as a researcher professor, and also I would like to be the point of intersection between governmental decision makers and researchers from academy. Yeah, that is very important to take good decisions.
Yeah. Do you know, it's really interesting that you would say that because I work on another project called Prepare, which is about pandemic research. And we had a steering committee meeting back in January, I think. And they said that is sort of the most important thing is being the bridge between the policymakers and the researchers. And so you have to speak policymaker language and you have to speak researcher language, right?
Exactly.
And so
Yeah.
how do you make that happen? How do you do that? So yeah, you'll have to tell us your secrets, how you did it when you do it, because I know you're gonna do it. We're
Oh,
gonna be
thank you.
seeing you.
Yeah, because at the end we know that politicians do not know about scientific language, so they don't like, I think, reading papers or getting the simulations. They don't care, I think,
Right.
about this kind of language, but at the end they will care about those results in order to implement very useful policy policies to reduce, for example, in this case of COVID-19 pandemic, reduce the number of deaths, reduce
Right.
the number of infections, and to, for example, to also to keep the economy safe, to keep the economy kind of active. Otherwise, a country will be like will collapse, I think.
Right. Right. Yes. Not just Ecuador. I mean, it's the if there's anything that this pandemic has shown us is how small this world is and the ripples from one place, how they affect what happens in Ecuador affects the United States. I mean, it absolutely does. There's no question. What happens in Myanmar affects us. What happens on a tiny little island in Micronesia, that affects us. And so, yeah, it's really important stuff. Okay. Thank you so much for meeting with me. See, that was pretty painless. Was it? That
Yeah,
was it
thank
like,
you.
hard or anything?
No, it was fun, actually.
Yes. I'm glad that I got to meet you both. And now when I listen to your talk in a couple weeks, right? A couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. See, then I'll know you. I'll be like, I know those guys. I know those mathematical modelers. Yes. This has been awesome. And I love the roosters. I really love the roosters. But you don't call them roosters because you obviously you looked at me kind of weird. So what are they in? What is the Spanish word or the word in Ecuador for them?
Oh, it's gallos.
Okay.
Gallos.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love them in the background. They were amazing.
Oh, yeah. And Carlos, you were very professional. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, they were like singing, and you were like, oh, don't worry,
I
everything
know.
is okay.
Yeah.
I really like
Uh,
it.
He was just completely
Yeah.
ignoring them. It's like, that's all
Yeah.
back here. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, it was awesome. That was really awesome. Okay, you guys have a really great day. Thanks again. And
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you too
Thank you
for
very
I'll
much.
see
inviting
you
us.
soon.
Have a good day and have a good week. Bye.
Yeah,
Be safe.
thanks.
Yeah. Well,
Bye.